I'm going to grab my iPad just a second.
So,
I mean, is there a CanCon tweet that I can retweet? That
there's one from 30 minutes ago with the excellent "Are you not entertained?" GIF.
Yeah.
And I sent one out a little while ago too. I also tweeted about half an hour ago.
Okay, yeah. The feed is live.
Okay.
I wonder if anybody's out there.
Oh, the only one way to find out.
So, like I said, there is a bit of delay. Keep that in mind, probably about 20 seconds.
Lee now has Professor Quatermass's lab. Because the BBC put up loads of backgrounds.
And I'm going to leave, so good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marco.
Thank you.
Someone's going to log on and it's going to be us furiously typing tweets.
Just background noise.
Yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there we are. There's a tweet I can retweet that says we're going now.
Let's see if there's a faster way to find this. There it is. Okay,
so
I see us on the YouTube.
Have it tuned in on my TV downstairs for the family to see it, and we're live. Hello, everyone.
Oh, happy birthday for the other day, you and the TV at home.
So wait, we're live now? Like we have to start being entertaining?
Yeah, we have to actually do stuff now.
But we said it was 1:30 we start. Do we want to start 3 minutes early?
Oh, I don't know.
Gotta end 3 minutes early.
Lawful good. This is a morality question now.
I think we should just sit in silence and stare at everyone until the exact time.
Directly into the camera. I used to make my students do that. I'm also a yoga instructor, and I used to make all of my students just sit in a circle and stare at each other for a minute with no talking to see how to get over the discomfort of just like silent eye contact. And there was like nervous laughter for the first 45 seconds, and they'd finally nail it and be like, there you go. Connect.
Yeah, I will admit I was staring at myself, not at anybody else on the screen. So that, yeah.
Were you connecting with yourself, Brandon?
I myself is dead.
See you.
I don't worry about myself anymore.
Nervous laughter is, of course, the response we seek to solicit in this event.
Constantly.
Or any sort of laughter. Honestly, we'll take it. Yeah, please.
Embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's also fine.
Awkward.
Yeah. Sympathetic.
Shameful, embarrassed.
Yes.
Hysterical.
I don't think there's that many kinds of laughter, are there?
Oh, Derek.
Oh, dude.
That was sympathetic. See that?
More patronizing, really.
Hey, patronizing laughs are still laughs.
Yeah.
We'll get some of that from this audience.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully people are stunned by the brilliance too.
Mm-hmm. Stunned laughter. That is absolutely what we're going for.
Horrified
Especially
laughter.
If they're stunned into silence.
Horrified.
Just opened the chat and we've got people commenting, which is good.
Hello.
Hi, chat.
Hello, everybody.
I want to do that, but like I don't want to get distracted. There's so many things happening already on my screen. There's so many windows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're within like what 30 seconds of starting.
Yep. Is that too early, Derek?
No. We're starting now.
I think your name. You should read your name so it says Derek Lawful Good.
I think everybody already knows.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so welcome everybody who's on the line and on the stream. My name is Derek Kunsken. I'm one of the organizers of CanCon. And I can say from the bottom of my heart that I miss all of our CanCon friends. And I think a lot of other people miss seeing their friends and having the kind of fun that we do within the sci-fi community. And so we wanted to bring people together. And so I wanted to say a special thank you to Brandon, who is one of our programming co-leads, who decided, hey, let's try this out. And he needed technical help. And Marco, our technical lead, Marco Coltrera, Those two worked together to design this event. And then Brandon reached out to Lee Harris, who is the editor-in-chief at Tor.com. And Lee has done this event, I guess you said 30 times, Lee?
20 or 30 times, yeah.
20 or 30. Okay, good. I'm glad I wasn't off by a factor of 10 because I almost said 300. But what I will do now is I will pass things over to Lee and we will have some fun. And from CanCon, I just want to say hey to all our friends out there.
Thank you, Derek. And thank you all for tuning in. Welcome to Ready, Steady, Flash. This is a game about flash fiction. If you were expecting something else, there are other video channels available elsewhere in the shadowy recesses of the internet. DM me for recommendations. Now, in our game, 4 intrepid authors have agreed to subject themselves to, have cheerfully volunteered to write some pieces of flash fiction for you, right here, right now. The catch, they only have 5 minutes in which to do it, and they don't know what the story is about until I tell them. I'd like to start by thanking Derek Kunsken and Marie Billaudieu, the chairs of CanCon, for hosting this game today. I was honoured to be one of CanCon's guests at their conference in Ottawa in October last year. I can honestly say that it was one of the best writer-focused genre conferences I've ever attended. If you're a writer, I recommend you check them out at can-con.org. So, on to introductions. First, we have Tina Connolly. Tina gives a wave.
Hello.
Hello. Tina is the author of the Ironskin trilogy from Tor Books, the Seriously Wicked series from Tor Teen, and the collection On the Eyeball Floor and Other Stories from Fairwood Press. Her stories and novels have been finalists for the Hugo, Nebula, Norton, Locus, and World Fantasy Awards. Slacking somewhat there, Tina. Her narrations have appeared in books and podcasts, including Podcastle, Pseudopod, Beneath Ceaseless Skies, and more. She's one of the hosts of Escape Pod, and she runs the Parsec-winning flash fiction podcast Toasted Cake. Tina Connolly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Next up, we have Siena Tristan. Now, Siena is a writer and artist based out of one of my favorite cities in the world, Toronto. She's the author of The Heretic's Guide to Homecoming, and her first work of poetry, The Insomniac's Assistant, is available now through Penrose Press. A purveyor of many skills and talents, she can also lead a yoga class, play you a tune on the violin, speak to you in 3.5 languages, fix your website, and climb 40 feet in the air on a pair of silks. Only 40 feet.
Catch up.
Hi, Sienna.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Next up, we have Paul Cornell. Now, Paul is an English writer based in Gloucestershire in the south of England. He's written 3 Hugo-nominated episodes of the TV series Doctor Who, comics for Marvel, DC, Vertigo, Dark Horse, and 2000 AD. He's written novels for Galance and Tor. He's also the author of the Litchford series of novellas for Tor.com Publishing, who also published his autobiographical horror novel Chalk. His short fiction has been published in venues too numerous to list here, but includes George R.R. Martin's Wildcards short story anthologies, and he's the creator of Bernice Summerfield, a Doctor Who companion from the novels, who for 20 years now has had her own spin-off line of books and audio plays. Paul Cornell. We can't hear you if you nod, Paul.
Thank you.
And finally, Brandon Crilly. Now, what can be said about Brandon that hasn't already been scrawled across the walls of 100 public toilets, much of it in his own handwriting? As well as a full-time role as a high school teacher in Ottawa, Brandon is one of the programming leads at CanCon. He is arguably one of the finest writers of his generation, has one of the highest IQs in the genre community, was 4 times voted the most handsome man in North America, and sorry, Brandon, I can't read your handwriting for this next bit.
You're doing fine.
Brandon, really.
Thanks, Lee. Great to be here.
It's hard to get a complete story written in 5 minutes. Harder still when you don't know what the story is going to be until you start writing it. I will give our writers a title, and they have 5 minutes in which to write you a story based on that title. At the end of the 5 minutes, they will each read what they've created, and you get to choose the winner. Now, when we do this game at conventions, I use an incredibly sophisticated piece of audience approval technology to determine the winner of each round based on levels of applause and ambient temperature. But in this, our maiden online voyage, we'll have to do it the way our grandparents would have done it in their day, via Twitter. Now, if you have a Twitter account, open it during the next 5 minutes and view the profile r_steady_flash. So that's, hold it up there, can you see that? There we are. Alas, Ready Steady Flash is 1 character too long for Twitter handles. Our panelists, please mute your mics. but keep your sound on, as you'll need to be able to hear when your time is up. In round 1, you have 5 minutes to write a story, craft a poem, or choreograph a piece of interpretive dance around the title, Captain Lockdown, Supervillain. Your time starts now. Okay, well, during this round and the next few, we're going to have a quiz. The winning audience team gets to help choose the next fiction topic. Now, if your first name or username, if you're currently using one, begins with a letter that is before L in the alphabet, you're on team A. And because there are no B teams in this game, if your name begins with a letter after the letter L, you're on team 1. If your name begins with L, you're already a winner in life's lottery, and you get to choose which team to be on. You can even swap at any time during the game. Now, you all have some form of internet-connected device in front of you. Please don't Google the answers. Let's play using an honor system. Although, to be honest, we're all nerds here, and by the time you've looked something up online, somebody else has probably answered it anyway. To answer a question, type in your team number or letter, followed by your answer. So typing in A or 1 is important, so we know who to credit with the point. The first answer for any given team is the one that will count. A right answer gains you a point, a wrong answer gains the other team a point. And the glamorous Derek Kunsken will be keeping score for us. It's worth noting that with what's going on in the world, we should all be reusing things wherever possible. So if you've been to one of these games at a convention and recognize some of the questions, it's not me being lazy, I'm recycling. Now, because of the wonders of international video conferencing, there is a delay of anywhere up to 20-30 seconds between me asking a question and you viewing it on YouTube. So rather than have 30 seconds delay with me just sitting here waiting for answers, I will be asking 3 questions at a time. Feel free to answer any or all of them. To remember, the first answer that I see for any particular question will be the one that counts. Okay, let's get onto the quiz. Let's find a good round. Okay. No particular topic for this round, random questions. First question, which character speaks the first line in the original 1977 Star Wars movie? Question 2, Captain James Kirk is the most famous captain of the USS Enterprise in Star Trek, but who had the job before him in the original TV series? And question 3, when Doctor Who came back to TV in 2005, it filmed under a secret code name. What was that code name? Let's have a look. So we don't have any answers coming through quite yet, so I'll do another question. Which animated cartoon scientist's catchphrase is wubba lubba dub dub? And I guess one more. Which of these 4 Marvel movie characters was not recast in a later film? Red Skull, General Thunderbolt Ross, Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, or James Rhodes, aka War Machine? Okay, we have the first answers coming through. Julie for team 1, or 1A, in fact, 1A, okay, has got the answer for the first question, C3PO. That is the correct answer. So we'll have, let's have a look. Yeah, 1 point to team A. Nicola has got the answer to question 2 correct. Christopher Pike was the answer, the captain before James Kirk. GD, I can't read that username. GTD has got the answer Torchwood for question 3, which is correct. So that's another point to team A. Dominic, who is also team A, has got Rick from Rick and Morty. That's correct. And the 5th question, Nathan has got General Ross from the Marvel movies. Yes, General Thunderbolt Ross was played by William Hurt in all of those movies. I believe that's 5 points to team A. Team 1, if you're watching, you are allowed to play at this point. Okay, let's go for another few questions then.
Lee, I'm just giving you your 30-second warning.
Oh, okay. So we have 30 seconds. Paul looking very, very shocked there. So we're not going to do another question because we're not going to have time for it. Instead, you will hear me drone on for the next 15 seconds while we count down 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh, you and your actual numbers.
Lawful good.
Okay, here we go. Authors, could you please stop writing now? Thank you very much. Okay, that was perhaps a cruel start to the game with the title being Captain Lockdown Supervillain. I hope people watching are tuned into their Twitter accounts because you'll need to be logged on to vote. But can we have, first of all, Paul, can we have your story about Captain Lockdown Supervillain?
Peoples of the world, listen to my message, for your lives depend on... Oh, wait a sec, sorry, froze there. The Wi-Fi here is the first thing I will fix when my campaign of domination... Oh, hey, you know what we said about coming in to see Daddy when he's monologuing? Can't Mummy get your juice? Okay. Anyway, peoples of the world, within the next few months, probably sometime around September when the schools go back, you will bow before your new... Oh, it's so easy to mock in the chat, isn't it? No, my voice isn't this high-pitched in real life.
Thank you, Paul. Wonderful stuff. Tina, you next, please.
All right. I mean, it's hard to top that, Paul. That was amazing. Captain Lockdown, supervillain, had one giant plan in mind: how to destroy every scrap of hoarded comfort food in existence. They're managing too well, he shrieked, with their closets of chocolate and their stashes of tea and their daily bakings of sourdough, banana bread, cinnamon rolls. So he made a giant death ray. It was made of tentacles and glue sticks because Captain Lockdown Supervillain had a 6-year-old with him in lockdown. So at exactly 9 a.m. Monday morning, it was going to shoot out through every Zoom call in existence. It would reach out through the Monday morning check-ins and the teacher school thingies, and it was going to scrape every food away. The more useless and boring the Zoom call, the better the death ray would work. Now, blearily, he shelved his death ray and went to bed. It was about 2 a.m. I'm going to do this first thing in the morning, he said. But you know who was up before he woke up, and that was his 6-year-old. And his 6-year-old didn't care for chocolate. His 6-year-old said, I'm going to get every pancake in existence. And that's where this miracle of Flash ends, right there at the cliffhanger.
Nicely done, thank you. Next up is, I don't remember who we had in order here. It doesn't matter. Next up is Sienna.
Okay, we're gonna take a 180 turn here into the horrific. Captain Lockdown, supervillain. Is there anything so wrong about being alone? Personally, I've always been a solitary type, pulled big percentages on that personality test, that Myers thing, INFJ. I like my own company. Frankly, I figure it's a little cowardly not to be able to spend more than an hour or a week on your lonesome. There's so much noise in the world. The upbraiding screech of the subway wheels, the raccoons scrapping it outside at 10 p.m., the endless blathering from the soccer moms and their filthy popsicle-smeared tykes in the dog park. I was about fed up with all of it anyway, to be very honest. It's been what? 10 weeks? 11? Feels like a blink. Feels like no time at all. But time flies when you're having fun. I'm really enjoying myself quite enormously. There are puzzles to pick apart and together, plants to watch grow, and quiet to sit and sponge up. I don't quite know if I'll be happy to give it up when it's all over. I don't know if I like that at all. Nothing wrong with being alone. Nothing wrong at all. I might want to see what I can do about that. Lots to think about.
Excellent. Thank you, Sienna. Next up, Brandon.
Right. The streets are too silent. Why are they so silent? Because no one has a reason to party. Trevor stared across the table at Eleanor Margrave, his source of judgment for today's product pitch. She didn't give anything away except an ability to ignore the pigeons outside the window behind her that continued to distract Trevor while he tried to land his pitch. After 5 seconds, Eleanor raised an eyebrow. It's too soon, Trevor. Too soon? We've been in the new times for 2 weeks. Things are going back to normal. Now's the time to make money. Seriously? Eleanor said, with a Captain Morgan ripoff, making fun of the before times. Go back to the dungeon and work on ads for filtered water and delivery services like you're supposed to. Trevor shook his head. You are going to be sorry. You don't know who I'm going to become. And Eleanor just smiled and said, just get back to work.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, so now it's over to you, the audience, to decide who's going to be the winner of this first round. So head on over to twitter.com/rsteadyflash, scroll down to round 1. And if you think that Paul's Wi-Fi story should win, click on Paul's name. Tina with Captain Lockdown's 6-year-old interrupting, please click on Tina. Sienna, whose villain is quite enjoying the quiet, then click on Sienna, and Brandon's story of somebody who really wants to get back to the party mode, then click on Brandon. I will give you maybe 10 seconds to choose your winner there. That will give me time to find the poll, because this is the first time we've ever done this, and so it's new to everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about anyone else. I'm deliberately not looking at Twitter.
No. Oh, no.
Do it raw. Check later.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Okay, so while we're waiting for those scores to come in, because of course I forgot there is a 30-second delay, then I'll just let you know that for round 2, we are setting the quiz scores back to 0. So team 1, you do have the chance to score some points here. Let's have a look, see where we're going with the score.
Can we get the answers to the quiz at some point? Because I'm wondering about some of that. I heard them with my unconscious mind while I was fighting.
Oh, yeah, I'll do them later. Yeah, it's fine. It'll all be fine.
Yeah,
okay.
I was told there was going to be a way to cheat.
Yes, but unfortunately your check didn't clear.
Oh, dang it.
Nice try, Tina.
I have the score records here, Tina. Sometimes things could just fall off.
Right. Okay, your chocolate's in the mail.
What happened to this lawful good crap, Derek?
It's a ruse.
We're going to head on to round 2 in a moment. But before we go on to round 2, should say that Derek, could you tell us which of the teams won the first round of the quiz?
Sure thing, Lee. It is Team A with 5 points versus Team 1 with 0.
Okay, so I guess then the Team A won. So Team A, you have the choice now of what story our guests are going to write. So if you could type into the chat an idea for a story title, I will give you 30 seconds to do that, and then we'll pick one and go on ahead. While we do that, I will give you the next couple of quiz questions as well, so we can make a start on round 2. The next 5 quiz questions will be, what is the superhero alter ego of the character Billy Batson? In the BBC TV series Merlin, who played Merlin? In Game of Thrones, what is the name of Westeros's capital city? Here's an interesting one. What was Hermione's original name in J.K. Rowling's early notes for the Harry Potter books? It wasn't Granger. And in what year did the Daleks first appear in Doctor Who? Okay, so we have some ideas coming through for story titles. In fact, we don't have many ideas for story titles, so we'll stick with one from Julie Seneda, Hardware. Panelists, you have 5 minutes in which to write a story or other piece of creative genius entitled Hardware. And your time starts now. Okay, so we have some answers coming through for those questions already. Mordecai is correct with his answer, Captain Marvel, the alter ego of the character Billy Batson, more commonly known these days as Shazam, but Captain Marvel is an acceptable answer. So that's a point to Team 1 there. Elizabeth Miles, who's playing for Team 1, was first in with King's Landing for the Game of Thrones question. So there's a point to Team 1 again. What year did the Daleks first appear in Doctor Who? Yeah, see, I'm torn now because Liz knows everything there is to know about Doctor Who, but it's not the answer that I've got on screen in front of me. I'm going to go with the answer I've got on screen in front of me, which is 1963. And so that's going to be a point to Team A for that. Oh, yes, she's put 1963 later on down in the chat, but that's too late. I'm sorry about that, Liz. Nobody else has answered any of the other questions. So the answers to those other questions were Colin Morgan played Merlin in the BBC TV series Merlin, and Hermione's original surname in J.K. Rowling's early notes for the Harry Potter books was Puckle. She was originally Hermione Puckle. Okay, let's have a few more questions. Complete the following famous quote from the TV series Lost in Space. Danger. In which country were Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies filmed? So easy, these things. In 2001, A Space Odyssey, what song does the rogue computer system HAL 9000 sing to himself as he's shut down? And this one is for 3 points. I want you to type out the whole answer in a single line. Don't press return between them. In the Batman comics, Dick Grayson was the first to act as the Caped Crusaders' sidekick Robin. Can you name 3 of the other fictional characters to take on the superhero identity of Robin?
Whoa.
Okay, so we have Nicole playing for Team 1 has got Will Robinson, which is correct. So it's a point for Team 1. Elizabeth is pulling back the negative point that she earned earlier. Point for Team 1 with New Zealand, which is where the Lord of the Rings movies were filmed. Mordecai for Team 1, Daisy. Oh, who do I give that? I would have accepted Daisy. The nursery rhyme itself is called Daisy Bell. Okay, I'm going to be kind with this one. I'm going to give you the point. So it's a point for Team 1 for Daisy. So Erin has got Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian Wayne. So it's a 3 points there for Team 1. You could have also had Stephanie Brown or Carrie Kelly. How are we doing for time at the moment, Derek?
We've got 2 minutes left about.
2 minutes left, though. We've got time for a few more questions then. Okay, in the film Jurassic Park, what is the name of the island where the park is located? In the Alien movie series, what is the name of Ellen Ripley's pet cat? Which TV series was based on the novel Cyborg by Martin Caidin? And who wrote and directed the 1971 film THX 1138? Do we have any answers coming through yet? We don't, so I'll put in another couple of questions. Which character, played by actor Craig Charles, is the sole survivor of the Red Dwarf? Sole human survivor, anyway. And before coming to New York, in the 1933 film King Kong, where had King Kong lived? Tyler is first in with an answer to the Jurassic Park question with Isla Nublar, so point to Team 1. Marco for Team 1 has put Jones. It's not quite correct. The cat is called Jonesy. I'm going to be very strict on that one, so there's a point there to Team A. Julie has put Robocop for the question, what TV series is based on the novel Cyborg? No, it was the $6 Million Man. So that's going to be a point to Team 1. Elizabeth Miles Lister I'll take that. I was looking for the full name, Dave Lister, but that's fine. So a point for team 1 for Lister. What else do we have there? Julie, point for the King Kong question. King Kong lived in Skull Island. And point for team A from Julie again. George Lucas directed and wrote THX 1138. Derek, how are we doing for time?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. So while Derek is totting up the scores there, I suspect Team 1 has pulled around and earned some points back there.
They should be very proud of themselves.
They should be very proud of themselves for answering anything after that awful first round of theirs.
It was like an old Argentina-Germany soccer game. Okay, time.
Okay, well, before we go on and listen to the pieces of genius that have been written by our authors, we can now go back to the scores for round 1. In 4th place, audience scores Brandon Crilly at 7.4%. Tina in 3rd place with 11.1%. Paul in 2nd place with 33.3%, and Sienna with almost half the votes at 48.1% is the winner of round 1. So congratulations, Sienna.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Hey. All right. Okay. Let's have a look. So it was Hardware was the title for the last.
We have a question from Paul.
Okay.
About that Dalek question. It really depends where across the year, because I know the first Dalek story starts in 1963, but that plunger one sees at the end. Anyway, I suspect.
Did we see the plunger in 1963?
Yes.
That's the answer then.
Okay.
That's a Dalek. Okay, so we have 4 stories with the title Hardware. Let's start this time with Brandon, please.
All right, let's see here. So, Victoria held the metal wand in front of her patient's face and asked him to open wide. There was so much gunk and mold in the young man's mouth that she had to cover a gag. He was going to be dead in a week, 3 days. Victoria didn't know any more than she knew where the plague tearing through the southern villages came from or what any of the tools in the bag beside her did. But the parents watching fretfully nearby didn't need to know that, or that Victoria had discovered the medical equipment in the bag she took off this morning's mugging victim instead of the money she wanted. Conning concerned plague victims was a good plan too, though. This should have been easier. She grabbed a wicked-looking sharp thing from the bag and held it up. To the parents, she said, "I'm going to take the source of the infection out with this. It might hurt." Will it save him? The mother asked. Victoria faked her best, most trustworthy smile. No one knew what would solve the plague. People just kept choking on bile that came out of nowhere in their mouths and throats. That's why Victoria needed money, to get north and leave all of this death behind. "Of course it will," she said, and stuck the sharp pokey thing into the kid's mouth, hoping for the best.
I am so impressed you wrote all of that in 5 minutes. That is
Schrodinger's child. We don't know.
I wanted to find out what happened to the kid, but I didn't get that far.
Maybe it's for the best, Brandon.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe you can write the second part of that to whatever the title for the next round is. Sienna, you're up.
I have a haiku. So we're going to just all imagine things now. Hardware. Ship in the abyss. Underwater. 10 leagues down. Morse code blinks. Hello.
Oh, I like that. Tina.
All right. Well, I also have a poem, but it is nothing so refined as a haiku. Once there was a robot who ran on coffee and donuts, but she slipped on her side. Her circuity got fried. Never was there such a slow bot. The robot went into quarantine to stop the slowness from spreading, I mean. But isolation was dull, and her memory was full, and missing the others felt so keen. So the robot made a Zoom to find the others in a room She found her friends, there were happy ends, and never more plagues of doom.
Okay, Paul, we've had a short story, we've had a haiku, we've had a long limerick-esque poem. It's an operetta from you.
Just a bit of prose, if one can call it that. They had been pushed too far. The tea sets, plates, dishes, cups and saucers had been dropped, clattered, shoved to the back of cupboards and put into the hands of jittery vicars once too often. Now it was their turn. They coordinated among themselves. Willow Patton talked to Art Nouveau. At the signal, tea time on Sunday, they pounced unsuspecting. Unsuspecting cake users found their foodstuffs upended. Tea drinkers endured sudden spillage. It was like midnight at a Greek wedding times a billion. Finally, the chaos subsided. The remaining teapot stared at the carnage and declared, ceramics 1, organics 0.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank you, everyone. Some great rounds there, actually. Okay, so to vote in this round, please again head over to Twitter, Ready Steady R Steady Flash. Heads down to round 2 and vote on the hardware story. If you liked Brandon's conning the plague victim story, Siena's haiku, Tina's poem about robots who live on coffee and donuts, or Paul's just a bit of prose. Okay, and Derek, could we get the scores for the quiz, please, for that round?
Yes. So Team A had 2 points, and Team 1 had 12 points. And there is a bit of a correction because friends have been tweeting and texting me saying that I had not counted 2 points for Team 1 in the previous round. So I think I should give 2 points to a bonus. So it's 14-2 for this round for Team 1.
Not that it makes any difference at all with the winners. So congratulations to Team 1. You pulled it right back because, frankly, you were pathetic in the first round. This time it was Team A's turn to be pathetic. Okay, Team 1. Can we get in the chat window a few ideas for the story title for the next round, please? And while we're waiting for the internet to catch up on that, I will give you the first few questions in the next part of the quiz. Derek, the scores will go back to 0-0 for the quiz. And here are the first few questions. What is the significance of the temperature in the title of the 1960s science fiction film and, of course, the novel? I apologize, this was copy and pasted from a quiz website, Fahrenheit 451. Which fictional organization was based on Tracy Island? What was the name of Blake Seven's first ship? And who was the 4th Doctor Who on TV? Who was the first actor to play the Doctor on Doctor Who on TV? And what were people searching for in Waterworld? Let's have another couple of questions, actually, while we're waiting. What was the name of George Jetson's dog? And who provided Darth Vader's voice? Okay, do we have any ideas for the titles coming through? We have no titles coming through on the YouTube channel. Let's have a look, see if there's anything coming through on Twitter, because I think there are a few people playing on Twitter as well. We have nothing through there either. So I think we're going to get yeah, we have no titles coming through. Okay, so don't forget to vote in round 2. I'm going to pick. I'm going to look at my bookshelves and pick a random title.
I felt that Team 1 was really on a redemption arc, and then they dropped the ball.
Well, it would have been nice to get some story suggestions. I'm going to go for 3 days till the end of the world.
3 days till the end of the world. All right.
Authors, you have 5 minutes to write a story on 3 days till the end of the world, and your time starts now. We have lots of answers coming through for the questions already, so let's have a look who's going to be winning what. We have I think I need, next time we do this, I think I'll have somebody else doing the quiz answer. Julie for Team A with books burn. Yes, books burn at Fahrenheit 451. The paper burns. Nathan Smith has answered Thunderbirds for the question about which fictional organization was based on Tracy Island. But the organization is International Rescue. So a team points to Team A for Thunderbirds. Elizabeth Miles point to Team A for Tom Baker, played the Fourth Doctor. Julie has answered dirt for what were people searching for in Waterworld. Dry land was the answer I would have liked to have got. Dirt, I suppose, works. Okay, point for Team A there. Nathan for Team 1 has answered Astro for the name of George Jetson's dog. Amy Sundberg for Team A, James Earl Jones provided Darth Vader's voice. Okay, I think that's all of the questions. Oh, hang on, we didn't get the Blake 7 question through. Nobody's answered the Blake 7 question. The answer to that was the Liberator. Okay, let's get some more questions through them. In Highlander, what was the Highlander's name? In what car does Michael J. Fox go back to the future? Which pop star played the man who fell to Earth? What character makes a series of quantum leaps? In which book do you meet a character called Thorin, son of Thrain, son of Thrall? Which performer played the lead in The Bionic Woman? And who plays Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife in Total Recall? Okay, let's have a look, see what answers are coming through. None yet, so the internet hasn't yet caught up with the quiz. Oh, they're coming through now. MacLeod, yeah, I would have preferred the full name Connor MacLeod, but MacLeod is correct. Marco for Team 1 got in there just before Julie, so 1 point to Team 1. Nathan for Team 1, DeLorean was the car in Back to the Future. Julie for Team A, David Bowie played the man who fell to Earth. Andre for Team A, a point for The Hobbit. We've got Julie again for Team A. Julie, I want you on my team if we're ever in a quiz. Lindsay Wagner played the Bionic Woman. Marco for Team 1, Sharon Stone played Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife. Which character makes a series of quantum leaps? Julie's put Sam, which is correct, but I really wanted the full name of Sam Beckett. I'm not going to give anybody a point for that. Okay, we're going to go for some more questions. Be careful with this one. In The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Vogons shout, "Resistance is..." what? In the Doctor Who episode, The Sound of Drums, we meet the remnants of humanity from the year 100 trillion. What are they called? Who created the Sarah Jane Adventures? Who is the only writer to have penned multiple Doctor Who episodes, of which all have been Hugo nominated? Which two doctors meet in Time Crash? And fill in the missing word in this sequence. Name, day. That's a Doctor Who question as well.
45 seconds, Lee.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Marco has put for the answer, the Vogon question, poetry, which is incorrect. Jagtress for Team 1 had it corrected, useless, but unfortunately it was too late. Marco gave your point to Team A, so point to Team A there. Tyler for Team 1 has got Paul Cornell as the correct answer. Andre has 10th and 5th for the question Time Crash. 5
seconds.
And also put down your pens, laptops, whatever you're writing with. We'll just go through a few more answers coming through. Phoebe for team 1, Toclophane. Or whatever team I'm on. Oh, Phoebe, actually, you're on team A. So points for team A there for Toclophane. And are there any other answers waiting to come through? No, I think that's it. Okay, so can we stop what we're doing and we'll get those stories read out.
Goes up in your living room and says your mother is like the queen of fairy and you accidentally got switched at birth and she's calling you home. 3, donate all my old softball gear. I don't think anyone's going to play softball in Fairyland, and there goes that idea to getting a scholarship, so I might as well get over it right now. 4, write like an email to my best friend Fiona telling her, I guess, about this. I haven't been able to tell her all week and they say I can call home, but I don't think it's going to be the same. But she's got softball practice and I haven't wanted to practice with all that. 5, more Snickers bars. 6, okay, so what if I like take a photo of my team? Then maybe I could show it to my new mom and maybe she'll let me come home and visit. 7, my softball glove. 8, oh, hang on, Fiona's calling. 9, okay, new plan. Ask the queen what it takes to get a whole human into Fairyland who can come and visit and stay there. First Fairyland softball team starting now.
Excellent, thank you very much. Brandon, you're up.
Wow, mine has like the complete opposite tone. I apologize profusely. All right, 3 days till the end of the world. On the 3rd day before, I went through every possession and organized them by color. Navy with cerulean, goldenrod with canary, crimson with blood red, everything in exactly the place it needed to be picked up. On the 2nd day before, I closed everything up, locked the windows, checked the cabinets, shut every door, including the one to the bedroom, and chose to sleep on the couch. On the day of, I focused on myself. Best jacket, geekiest shirt, and even took the time to shave. Waited for the car and didn't say a word to the person driving me to the funeral home while I fiddled with the ring on my finger.
Oh,
I didn't go with humorous or horrifying for that one. Sorry, Lee.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brandon. Paul, you're up.
And now the comedy starlings of Homer Simpson. 3 days till the end of the world. So it's next Tuesday, said Lizzie. I was really hoping for a weekend. Apparently, said Autumn, it's an exact number of days thing based on the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar, that's been a bit unreliable so far. I mean, is this a real calendar or one of those knockoff ones with press conference pictures, presumably of Mayans? This has been fact-checked by Snopes, and I have never seen them in such a state. The post began, horribly, turns out magic is true, and went from there. Twitter's still a bit skeptical. They're anti-Fifth Horseman. Well, as always, blame the messenger.
Thank you. And Sienna.
Okay. We're flip-flopping tones here. Yeah, it's great. 3 days till the end of the world. As the prophets say, all things in 3s or 5s. I really would have preferred 5 days until the end of the world, but I guess you can't get picky with numbers when you're privy to insider knowledge. I'm surprised I got the math right, but the thing inside me's got a knack for guesswork and for punchlines to big universal jokes. Me, the blabbermouth, the one who keeps secrets like keeping live octopus down, entrusted with all the preciousness of these 72 hours. What do I even do with it? No time to get home. No time to find friends. I might just sit somewhere final, a dock or a cliffside, and listen to music. Music, after all, is the pleasure of knowing you're counting without knowing you're counting. the bittersweet flip side to mortality. I've got something in 3/5 time as it happens.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I was waiting. I could see you still talking, but no sound. It's because I was looking at the time delayed one.
Oh, at the it's a 20-second delay here.
Oh no.
Okay, so it's time to vote on your favorite story of those three. Please go to the Twitter feed, @steadyflash. Look for round 3 and vote for either Paul, Tina, Brandon, or Sienna. In the meantime, Derek, who were the winners of the quiz in that last round?
So Team A got 9 points, and Team 1 had 6 points registered, and then I had 2 texts come in about missed points. And I think how I want to deal with that this time is give them 2i in the imaginary number system where you have root of -1. So they have 6 plus 2i points.
Excellent.
Which is still not enough.
Okay, so I was going to ask whether that meant that they won or not, but okay. So the winning team was?
Team A.
Okay, Team A. Have a little think about what story you'd like the authors to write in the next round. In the meantime, I'm going to go back and have a look to see who the winner of the previous round was.
Round 2.
And in round 2, Paul Cornell is in 3rd runner-up place with 14%. Brandon is coming 3rd with 21%. Sienna narrowly missing out on a 2nd point with 29%. And Tina is the winner of that round with just short of 36%. So please, Derek, mark up a point to Tina.
Yay!
Okay, so we have a couple of story titles coming through already. Thank you for putting story titles through, so I don't have to scour my bookshelves anymore. So we have Rebecca DM has suggested Good Things Grow. Julie has suggested Her Heart Orbits. Oh, I like that. Nathan, I don't think this is a story title, but I like it anyway. Derek is an evil clone. So let's have a look. So we have 2 suggestions, Good Things Grow or Her Heart Orbits. Okay, authors, I'm going to let you choose which story title you're going to use in this last round. So either Her Heart Orbits or Good Things Grow. Please write down the title at the top of the story so that you can read it out at the beginning of your narration so we know exactly what story it is you're doing. While we're doing that, I'm going to read out a few questions for the quiz so we can start the next round. And we've just had a kind of a Doctor Who round. We're going to have a round on other TV shows now. Which TV comic book series, which played on DC Universe last year, was cancelled after only 1 episode aired? Buffy the Vampire Slayer had her TV debut in which year? In Farscape, what name did Crichton give to his gun? In Stargate Universe, name Robert Carlyle's character. iZombie stars Rose McIver as Olivia Moore. What character did she play in Once Upon a Time? Which Netflix series with episodes of between 9 and 16 minutes is about a TV fan thrown through a portal into the world of the Korean dramas that she obsesses about? The answers are coming through already. Dre Knox for Team 1 has got a point for Swamp Thing, cancelled after only 1 episode, which was a really good series, actually. Anne-Marie Tchaikovsky has got Winona, which is the name of Crichton's gun in Farscape, so a point there to Team A. Marie, 1997, the first year that Buffy the Vampire Slayer came on the air. We don't have any of the answers to the other questions coming through at the moment, so I'm just going to give you the answers. Stargate Universe, Robert Carlyle's character was Dr. Nicholas Rush.
Lee, is your camera on?
My camera should be on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but you've
Okay.
turned invisible.
I'm going to run through the answers to these, and then I'll have a look at the tech side of things.
Sure.
And in iZombie, Rose McIver as Olivia Moore. She played Tinkerbell in Once Upon a Time, and the Netflix series was Drama World. Surprisingly good series. That we're going to take a look at my video there. Am I back? I'm back. Hello. It was you probably prefer it the way it was, but never mind. Okay, a few more questions coming through. Who plays Lucifer Morningstar in the Lucifer TV series? What actor links Warehouse 13, Lost Girl, Smallville, and Killjoys? Who played James Gordon in Gotham? And name the web series which was crowdfunded by Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion. Anne-Marie for Team A has come up with the correct answer. Tom Ellis played Lucifer in the TV series, so point to Team A there. Any other answers coming through for those other questions? Conmen, Anne-Marie again. So Conmen was the series crowdfunded by Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion. And I think it's gone too long for the other questions. Aaron Ashmore was in Warehouse 13, Lost Girl, Smallville, and Killjoys. And Ben McKenzie played James Gordon in Gotham. Let's have a round on horror. Name the comic writer responsible for The Cape and Lock and Key. Which 80s slasher movie franchise has the most sequels? Herbert West has a very good head on his shoulders and another one in a dish on his desk. Name the film. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was partly inspired by which real-life serial killer? And the Cornetto trilogy began with which movie? Tyler has come in, Team A. Joe Hill was the writer for The Cape and Lock and Key, so point for Team A. Tyler, again, Friday the 13th is the slasher franchise with the most sequels, 10 sequels plus 1 remake. Any other answers coming through?
We're at 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Anne-Marie Reanimator says point for Team A there again. Anne-Marie with Shaun of the Dead, point for Team A. And there's only one more question waiting there. Authors, please stop. And Erin for Team A. Ed Gein, is that how you pronounce it? Ed Gein was partly inspired, was part of the inspiration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, well that's going to be the end of that round. Authors, let's see what you have to entertain us with. Who's going to start this time? I think Sienna can start off for us. So
Okay.
Your story.
I went with Rebecca's suggestion of Good Things Grow because I'm hungry. So we will have delicious cruciferous, sun-bathed squash, blue mango salad. We will pick heaps of mallow and marigold, dig sandy white carrots from the craters, peer through bamboo tall like radio towers. Rhubarb isn't poison here, even eaten raw. We will have cranberries coruscating light in the dark side bogs, watermelon in this place where there is no water, maple syrup glowing like a nuclear meltdown. Yes, good things grow here on the moon.
Excellent, thank you very much. Paul, can we have your masterwork? And what's your story called?
I went with Her Heart Orbits. During my dreams last night, I had the closest I've come to a ghost story. The window was open and the cool breeze on my shoulder turned somehow into the shape of a cold hand. I recall opening my eyes and searching the room, but without fear. So I think maybe ghosts have exactly the weight our memories give them. Cold was good in the increasing summer. The height suggested my mother, with a touch she hadn't given in life. She continues, after the fact of her life, to orbit something. And as with grief, I don't know whether or not it's me.
Thank you very much, Paul. Tina.
Okay, excuse me. I went with good things grow. Good things grow, she said, planting tomatoes and corn and lettuce. Good things grow, she said, planting dragon's livers and newt's eyes. The witch in quarantine looked around her garden. The sourdough starter was under the peach tree, the chamomile and feather fern and other potential plague cures next to the blueberry bush. A man came to her yard, drawn by her lure of dragon's liver and lettuce. The rich should not be taxed, he mansplained to her. Trickle-down works. A woman came to her yard, drawn by her lure of corn and newts. Anti-vaxxing is a right, she said. She did not wear a mask. The witch puttered around her yard, planting and planting. Large 6-foot plots soon joined the blueberries and arugula and parsley. Compost heaped on top. It was amazing, she thought. You could put all sorts of things in a garden, and it could still reap blueberries. Good things grow, she said. Good things grow.
Tina, thank you so much. Okay, and I think our last story of the afternoon is coming from Brandon.
Last story of the afternoon? Oh, dude. All right, well, let's see here. All right, so I went with Good Things Grow. Subtitle, Instructions for Growing a Replacement Co-Chair, aka a replacement Derek. 1, explain every guideline on this list in order. 2, speak succinctly and in your best verbal variation of non-yelling caps. 3, provide it with caffeine at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and then again at 7 p.m. 4, read it a comic book every night before bed. 5, never ask it for a high five. 6, tread lightly when asking for a fist bump. 7, not too much sunshine. This should be a given for things that grow. 8, be patient as it figures out emotions, especially passive aggression. 9, never ask it for a high five. This is important. 10, learn your science. It'll know if you try to bullshit. 11, listen to its plans for world domination and correct as needed. And 12, don't let the other co-chair near it. I'm sure you know who I mean.
Excellent, thank you very much.
That's an amazing ending.
Okay, well,
Can I get that list later, Brandon?
Done. Yeah, I'll send it out.
We're ready to get your votes for that round, everyone. Please head over to twitter.com/r/studyflash. Head to the round 4 poll and vote for the winner. While you're doing that, I can announce the winners of the previous round. Paul and Tina tied in 3rd place with 19.2% each. Brandon and Sienna tied for 1st place with 30.8% each. So things are very, very close at the moment. So it's a point each there, Derek, to Brandon and Sienna. While you're considering your votes and voting on there, I would just like to thank a few people for today and make an apology. This is the first time we've ever done this online, and the slight delay between us all talking and you hearing has meant that it's been a little bit of a some awkward pauses for the quiz, but that's something that we can work on for the next time, and I think there probably will be a next time because I've had some fun with this. But I'd like to thank some people, Courtney Fernandez and Marco Coltrera, for looking after the tech side of things for us during this this whole sequence. Thank you very much, Courtney and Marco. I'd like to thank Derek for looking after the scoring for both the authors and the audience quiz, and for looking at any anomalies in the scoring system that may have come up there as well. I'd like to thank our panelists, Paul Cornell, Brandon Crilly, Siena Tristan and Tina Connolly. So thank you for everyone there. Let's have a look, see if I think we've probably got enough time now for the scores to come through. There may be some more scores coming through after I finish speaking, but never mind. Oh no, they're still coming through. If, God willing, things are opening up at the end of the year and people are able to get out and about, CanCon, I believe, is still hoping to have its conference in Ottawa in October. Please do consider going to visit them if you're an author or if you're interested in any aspect of writing, editing, or publishing. It really is a very, very good conference. And thank you again to CanCon for hosting this game here today. The scores for round 4 have still not come through. That's something that we will look at.
Oh, the suspense!
So much suspense.
Should we go over the quiz scores?
Very exciting.
For the last round of the quiz scores?
The last round of, no. Oh, we could go to the last round of the quiz scores. Yes, absolutely. That'll
kill some time.
Yeah, perfect. I feel like we need one more thanks before we do that, though, which is to Lee for running this, and since it's your brainchild. So round of applause for Lee.
Yay!
If you've enjoyed this this game, my name's Lee Harris. If you haven't, I'm Derek Kunskin. Derek, what were the scores in that last quiz round?
We had a tie because Team A got 8 points and Team 1 got 2 points, but when I cubed it, it came to 8 as well.
Okay, that creative accountancy there. Whoever's looking after the finances for CanCon, keep Derek well away from them.
That's Marie.
He's cubing everything. We have
Good things grow.
For round 4. So we have Tina in not first place with 19.2%. In joint second place with 23.1%, Paul and Sienna. Brandon winning that round with 34.6%. Apologies, Brandon, I didn't mean to sound so surprised there. With 34.6%.
I'm surprised.
Brandon there. Derek, what does that mean in terms of the author scores?
So Tina has 1 point. Paul didn't get points, and Sienna and Brandon both got 2 points.
Wow.
Good job.
Amazing.
Well, I'm going to make an executive decision and give a point to Paul out of sheer pity.
Don't patronize me.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. This
I've been last in almost all of your contests.
Oh, dude.
Oh, no.
Everything is fine. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and hope to see you all soon.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
So much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone at home. Bye-bye.
Thanks, folks. Now we wait to see how long we're live for.
Oh, yeah. Count the seconds.
Just keep waving. I like Tina. Tina just keeps waving.
Keep them.
I'll change that.
And keep this up all day.
Nope.
Do we press leave?
I don't know. Maybe just...